Can you solve all these linguistic anthropology questions? The study of fossils. Smart pick. Paleontology is the correct choice. Study of human culture. On track. Anthropology is the correct answer. Archaeology is a brand of. Smart move. Anthropology is an accurate answer. It is the study of society. Bravo. Sociology is the answer. Anthropology is the study of. Valid point. Bones is true. Study of prehistoric fossils. Exactly. Paleontology makes sense. Who is the father of anthropology? Correct. Good Franz is the right answer. It is the study of power struggle. Right again. Political science is a valid answer. Social anthropology is a branch of. Correct response. Anthropology is the most accurate answer. Anthropology has how many subfields? Right choice. 5 is the best answer. How many types does anthropology has? Good thinking. 4 is the right answer. What is the study of humankind called?
Well done. Anthropology is the right choice.
The study of human culture is known as. Good job. Anthropology works well here. A decision reached after examining evidence. Well reasoned. Conclusion is the correct choice. Use skeletal body remains for identification. Excellent. Anthropology is a brilliant choice. How many branches of anthropology are there? Nicely done. 4 is a solid answer. The process of replacing cartilage with bone. Sharp thinking. Ossification is the right choice. Cultural bias in anthropology is described as. Solid response. Ethnocentrism is a valid choice. Which are the 4 subdivisions of anthropology? Great job. Biological, cultural, linguistic, archaeology is the accurate answer. The term social anthropology was originated in. Well picked. United Kingdom is the correct answer. What are the 2 broad fields of anthropology? Strong choice. Physical and cultural is the right answer. It is a science that studies human civilization. You got it. Your choice sociology is right. The word anthropos from anthropology means dash. Perfect. Human is the correct choice. The following are subfields of anthropology except. Nice work. You chose conflict anthropology, and it is correct. Anthropology is the combination of the Greek words. You're right. Anthropos and logos is the correct answer. Which is not a sub-branch of cultural anthropology? You chose biology, and it is correct. The study of objects to learn about past human life. Clear logic. Your choice archaeology is sound. Which of the following is not a field of anthropology? Nice selection. Sociological is the correct and valid answer. Describes the similarities and differences in culture. Great thinking. Cultural anthropology is the right choice. Economic anthropology is a main branch of anthropology. Excellent choice. False is the right answer. It is the study of the origin of human and its culture. Valid point. Anthropology is true. The term anthropology came from which two Greek words? Good job. Logos and anthros works well here. What is the cider? Perspective called in anthropology. Nicely done. Imic is a solid answer. Examines individuals and government in political context. You're right. Goal of political science is the correct answer. This is the study of the origins of people and societies. Right again. Anthropology is a valid answer. Application of entomology to civil and criminal legal cases. Smart pick. Forensic entomology is the correct choice. In which branch of anthropology would genetics be studied? You got it? Your choice, biological anthropology, is right. What is not one of the primary four fields of anthropology? Great thinking. Business anthropology is the right choice. The study of humans from a biological perspective is called. Well done. Physical anthropology is the right choice. What is the systematic study of people and cultures known as? Good thinking. Anthropology is the right answer. Studies the biological dimensions of humans and other primates. Nice work. You chose biological anthropology and it is correct. Study of humanity from a broad and biological perspective dash. Perfect. Anthropology is the correct choice. The physical record of a person's life as told by their bones. Right choice. Osteobiography is the best answer. What did Frank Cushing contribute to the world of anthropology? Well picked. Participant observation is the correct answer. This is everything that a person learns as a member of a society. You chose culture, and it is correct. Ethnology and linguistics belong to which field of anthropology? Excellent. Cultural is a brilliant choice. Dash is one of the fields of study in sociocultural anthropology. Smart move. Anthropology of symbols is an accurate answer. Social problems may be understood in the realm of which subject? Exactly. Sociology makes sense. Dash is the study of human culture and how it develops over time. Nice selection. Anthropology is the correct and valid answer. Shamanic practices are within the scope of cultural anthropology. Sharp thinking. Not given is the right choice. Something that shows proof or an indication that something is true. Correct response. Evidence is the most accurate answer. This subfield studies human biological variation in time and space. Bravo! Biological anthropology is the answer. Dash is the study of the past by looking at what people left behind. Well reasoned. Archaeology is the correct choice. Which of the following is not a sub-branch of physical anthropology? On track. Ethnolinguistic is the correct answer. Choose the correct answer of the union between language plus culture equal to?
Excellent choice. Sociolinguistic topic is the right answer.
Which of these is most closely associated with cultural anthropology? Great job! Social sciences is the accurate answer. Linguistic anthropology can fall under which subfield of anthropology? Clear logic. Your choice culture is sound. Which of the following is not a major area in biological anthropology? Correct. Ethnology is the right answer. What is the study of human origins, evolution, and diversity known as? Strong choice. Anthropology is the right answer. A class of individuals with similar physical characteristics are called? Solid response. Species is a valid choice. What is the main subtopic of anthropology related to the time of death? Bravo! Forensic anthropology is the answer. Ralph Piddington talked about some general aims in social anthropology. Exactly. False makes sense. Discipline of anthropology that deals with the study of human genetics. Sharp thinking, biological juror, physical anthropology is the right choice. Which of the following kinds of work would applied anthropology include? Great job. All of the above is the accurate answer. Anthropology is the study of past cultures through material remains. Right again. Archaeological is a valid answer. Investigation of past cultures through the excavation of materials remains. Correct. Archaeology is the right answer. Which of these is not included in the 4 main subfields of anthropology? Perfect. Applied anthropology is the correct choice. Which field of anthropology studies the relationships of people in groups? Excellent. Social anthropology is a brilliant choice. Is enriched by contributions from various disciplines and goes beyond them. Correct response. Anthropology is the most accurate answer. It deals with the archaeological sites on land, both open and cave sites. Great thinking. Terrestrial is the right choice. It investigates and seeks to understand the cultural features of societies. Good thinking. Cultural anthropology is the right answer. Which of the following studies the remains and artifacts of ancient people? Valid point. Archaeology is true. Focused on the study remains in an attempt to describe the behavior of human. Smart pick. Archaeological anthropology is the correct choice. Which field of anthropology studies the language structure of the Seminoles? Smart move. Linguistic anthropology is an accurate answer. Biological or physical anthropology studies all of the following except dash. You're right. Traditions and customs is the correct answer. What subfield of anthropology focuses on studying and interpreting artifacts? Well done. Archaeology is the right choice. What is the scientific study of past human cultures and civilizations called? Nice work. You chose archaeology and it is correct. An anthropologist examines a decomposed body to determine the cause of death.
Excellent choice. Cultural anthropology is the right answer. Is the study of human beings as a species and as members of different cultures. You got it. Your choice anthropology is right.
Which field of anthropology studies the symbols, laws, and values of a society?
Nicely done. Cultural anthropology is a solid answer.
What was the most common kind of anthropology in the late 1800s to early 1900s?
On track. Salvage anthropology is the correct answer. Studies the way of life of contemporary and historically recent human societies.
Solid response. Cultural anthropology is a valid choice.
One of the aims of cultural anthropology is to gather information about nature.
You chose false, and it is correct.
The study of human societies and cultures and their development is known as dash.
Nice selection. Anthropology is the correct and valid answer. Which field of anthropology studies the artifacts of ancient Mayan civilizations?
Clear logic. Your choice archaeology is sound.
Looks into the biological development of humans and their contemporary variation.
Strong choice. Physical anthropology is the right answer.
It is the systematic study of political and government institutions and processes.
Right choice. Political science is the best answer.
To understand anthropology as a whole, you need to understand all below fields but.
Well picked. Art is the correct answer.
Which anthropology studied the Yanomami indigenous peoples in the Amazon rainforest?
Good job. Napoleon Chagnon works well here. Cultural anthropology studies the similarities and differences among dash societies. Well reasoned. Both of them is the correct choice. Dash is a broad term meaning the application of the study of insects to legal cases. Great job. Forensic entomology is the accurate answer. They are found only in the mitochondria that is inherited through mothers, never fathers. Great thinking. Mitochondrial DNA is the right choice. What is the application of the techniques of biological anthropology to solve crimes? Smart move. Forensic anthropology is an accurate answer. This theory believes that each society has its own particular historical development. Bravo. Historical particularism is the answer. The field of science that would be involved in identifying skeletal remains is called. Exactly. Forensic anthropology makes sense. What is the term for the study of human societies and cultures and their development? You're right. Anthropology is the correct answer. Study of institutions, marriage, family or processes such as change and social mobility. Well picked. Sociology is the correct answer. It includes the study of communications, origins, history, and contemporary variation. Right choice. Linguistic anthropology is the best answer.
Choose the correct answer. How many types of culture exist in linguistic anthropology?
On track. 6 is the correct answer.
Refers to the study of living people and their cultures including variation and change.
Excellent. Cultural anthropology is a brilliant choice. This branch of anthropology looks at past cultures by studying their material remains.
Good thinking. Archaeology is the right answer. It is the study of past human cultures through the recovery and analysis of artifacts.
Right again. Archaeology is a valid answer. The study of origin, behavior, as well as the physical, social and cultural development.
Solid response. Anthropology is a valid choice. Studies the interrelationships between language and other aspects of a people's culture. Sharp thinking. Linguistics is the right choice. Cultural anthropology asks whether human emotions are universal or culturally specific. Good job. True works well here. What is the branch of anthropology that studies the cultural aspects of human societies? Correct. Sociocultural anthropology is the right answer. Which field of anthropology studies how people in a society communicate with each other?
You chose linguistic anthropology. And it is correct. Which subfield of anthropology focuses on the study of language and its role in society?
Smart pick. Linguistic anthropology is the correct choice.
Uses anthropological perspectives, theory and knowledge to solve real-world problems.
Strong choice. Applied anthropology is the right answer.
The practical use of anthropological theories and methods outside the academic setting is.
Clear logic. Your choice applied anthropology is sound. The study of how linguistics vary from one place to the next and one speaker to the next.
Nicely done. Comparative linguistics is a solid answer.
A distinguishing feature of anthropology is its approach to the study of human groups. Well done. Holistic is the right choice.
This is the study of society, patterns of social interactions, and culture of everyday life.
Nice selection. Sociology is the correct and valid answer. Discipline of anthropology that focuses on use of language in a particular time and society. Correct response. Linguistic anthropology is the most accurate answer.
The study of physical anthropology as it applies to human skeletal remains in a legal setting.
Perfect. Forensic anthropology is the correct choice. Preservation of cultural diversity and respect for traditions in this period of globalization.
Nice work. You chose anthropology, and it is correct.
Which of the following studies culture from their belief systems, practices, and possessions?
You got it? Your choice, cultural anthropology, is right.
It studies the materials remains of humans, best known for the study of prehistoric cultures.
Excellent choice. Archaeology is the right answer.
Choose the most appropriate answer. Nowadays, social anthropology focuses a little bit more on. Well reasoned. Social systems is the correct choice.
Emile Durkheim, Auguste Comte, Pierre Bourdieu and Max Weber are the main representatives of Valid point. Sociology is true. It is the study of humanity, including our prehistoric origins and contemporary human diversity.
Well reasoned. Anthropology is the correct choice.
It deals with the study of the nature of humanity, which also leads to examine our social role. Clear logic. Your choice sociology is sound.
Framing legislative policies, abolishing or limiting political dynasties all over the Philippines.
You're right. Political science is the correct answer. Which subfield of anthropology examines the ways in which people use language to create meaning? Valid point. Linguistic anthropology is true. Focuses on these special interests: human evolution as revealed by the fossils, human genetics, etc.
Nicely done. Biological anthropology is a solid answer. Promote to study of a society's culture through their belief systems, practices, and possessions.
Correct response. Cultural anthropology is the most accurate answer. The investigation of the marks on bone and their condition to uncover a potential cause of death. Strong choice. Skeletal trauma analysis is the right answer.
Which of the following studies biological development of humans and their contemporary variation?
Excellent. Physical anthropology is a brilliant choice.
What interdisciplinary study explores how language shapes communication and influences social life?
On track. Linguistic anthropology is the correct answer.
It entails political ideas, ideologies, institutions, policies, processes, laws, strategy, and war.
You got it. Your choice political science is right. What is the field of anthropology that explores the central role of language in human cultural life? Right again. Linguistic anthropology is a valid answer.
This subfield studies language in its social and cultural context across space and over time.
Great thinking. Linguistic anthropology is the right choice. Which field of anthropology studies how goods and services are produced and distributed in a society? Perfect. Social anthropology is the correct choice. Which subfield of anthropology involves the collection and analysis of data on non-Western societies? Bravo! Cultural anthropology is the answer.
Which field of anthropology studies fossil remains to learn how human characteristics have developed? X.
Solid response. Physical anthropology is a valid choice.
What is the study of how people in different cultures categorize and use plants for various purposes?
Well picked. Ethnobotany is the correct answer. It reconstructs, describe, and interpret human behavior and cultural patterns through material remains. Good job. Archaeological anthropology works well here. What is the study of how people in the past understood and used celestial objects for various purposes?
Exactly. Archaeoastronomy makes sense.
It involves the study of language in the society or communities where language may or may be not written.
Great job. Anthropological linguistic is the accurate answer. This is the subfield of anthropology which study how language and modes of communication change over time.
You chose linguistic anthropology, and it is correct. Which facial feature is the most distinguishing among the three main races in forensic anthropology? Good thinking. Prognathism tags objective 8.5 is the right answer.
What is the branch of linguistic anthropology that involves dissecting a language and analyzing its features?
Smart move. Descriptive linguistics is an accurate answer.
What is the field of anthropology devoted to describing and understanding the wide variety of human cultures?
Right choice. Cultural anthropology is the best answer.
This field of anthropology focuses primarily on how the human body adapts to the different Earth environments.
Well done. Biological anthropology is the right choice.
Dash also looks at prehistoric times. Paleontologists study fossils to learn what the world was like long ago.
Excellent choice. Paleontology is the right answer.
What is the term for the systematic study of human remains to understand past populations and their lifestyles?
Sharp thinking. Biological anthropology is the right choice. It is the study of culture through the interpretation of the meaning of symbols, values, and beliefs in society.
Nice work. You chose symbolic anthropology and it is correct. Which of the anthropological subfields most prepares a student with the skills for success in the 21st century?
Correct. Cultural anthropology is the right answer.
If you were interested in languages, their origin and development, which branch of anthropology would you study?
Nice selection. Linguistics is the correct and valid answer.
What is the branch of anthropology that studies the relationship between human societies and their environments?
Smart pick. Cultural ecology is the correct choice.
What is the branch of anthropology that focuses on the study of human remains and their biological characteristics?
A.
Well reasoned. Biological anthropology is the correct choice. The scientific study of the origins and behavior, as well as the physical, social, and cultural development of humans.
Nicely done. Anthropology is a solid answer.
Which subfield of anthropology involves the excavation and analysis of material remains left by past human societies?
Strong choice. Archaeology is the right answer.
Choose the correct option.
Excellent. Archaeological anthropology is a brilliant choice. Which subfield of anthropology studies the cultural beliefs, practices, and social institutions of different societies? A.
Exactly. Cultural anthropology makes sense. Which field of anthropology is primarily interested in the prehistory and early history of societies and their cultures?
Bravo. Archaeology is the answer.
Which subfield of anthropology focuses on the study of human biological diversity and the evolution of the human species?
Good job. Physical anthropology works well here.
What is the branch of linguistic anthropology that studies the relationship between language and social, cultural contexts?
Great job. Sociolinguistics is the accurate answer.
It is an academic discipline that deals with the study of government and political processes, institutions, and behaviors.
Right choice. Political science is the best answer.
Which field of anthropology studies the material creations of a society, including artwork, housing, tools, and architecture?
Great thinking. Cultural anthropology is the right choice. This theory is basically materialistic. It assumes that the systems of producing material goods influences and shapes society. Correct? Marxist anthropology is the right answer. The study of groups and their behavior. Sharp thinking. Sociology is the right choice. The branch of anthropology that studies human biology, both past and present, including human evolution and contemporary biological variability.
Excellent choice. Physical anthropology is the right answer.
The key factors in and determinants of socio-cultural evolution are the infrastructures that include technology, environment, and material conditions.
On track. Cultural materialism is the correct answer. The study of the origin, behavior, and development of humans is right again. Anthropology is a valid answer.
The analysis of differences in skeletal remains to determine identity is
Valid point. Forensic anthropology is true.
the anthropological analysis of human biological and cultural remains for legal purposes.
Good thinking. Forensic anthropology is the right answer.
Which field of anthropology is primarily concerned with the non-cultural aspects of humans and near humans?
Nice selection. Biological anthropology is the correct and valid answer.
How you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format?
Smart move. Contact Narayan Changder is an accurate answer.